All right, guys. So, how are you? Happy Friday. Happy whatever day it is for you. Basically, today we're going to be talking about how to avoid that $4,000 tax bill if you are self-employed. Now, I know a lot of my self-employed peeps. You run a business, you start your business, you start making sales, and then at the end of the year, you actually now owe the IRS and you're confused and you're wondering, why is this happening? Why do I owe? So now I'm going to be breaking it down and I'm just going to be looking over to my screen, which is basically some notes that I have on this topic. And today we're talking about estimated taxes. So what is estimated taxes? Estimated tax payments are basically when you make extra payments to the IRS throughout the year to cover your estimated tax liability that you will have at the end of the year. A lot of times this mostly applies to self-employed or people with businesses. You owe tax at the end of the year because you are making tax-free income essentially until you pay in tax. Let me explain. So when you work as a W-2 employee, you're getting your paycheck from your boss or your employer. They're paying their half of your taxes and you're withholding the rest of your taxes from your paycheck. This is called tax withholding. Now this is set up when you sign up for your but when you are actually self-employed, you don't have these things set up. So what I wanted to tell you about is how to estimate your taxes and why they're important. So this is very important. If you see yourself making more than $5,000 in your business this year, give me a thumbs up. And hopefully everyone's hitting that like button because I want everyone to make more than $5,000. Now, great. Awesome. You're going to make $5,000. But what I wanted to tell you guys was if you're making more than $5,000, then you're probably going to owe more than $1,000 in tax at the end of the year. It's roughly 20 to 25% for most of any type of like your single member LLCs or your sole proprietors, which basically means that you haven't incorporated, but you're taking money as a business. If you're making more than $5,000, you're going to owe about 20 to 25% of taxes of your profits at the end of the year. Now, the thing is, if you owe more than $1,000 at the end of the year, then you actually have you could get a penalty when you're to the IRS because they don't like it if you're owing more than $1,000. That doesn't matter whether you're a business, whether you are a regular person with a W-2 job, it does not matter. So in order to avoid having penalties tacked on to the taxes that you already owe, the IRS sets it up where you can pay estimated taxes in quarters. So how do you know if you actually owe during the year, and how do you figure out the calculation on how much you should pay into the IRS? That's where keeping your books comes into play. If you don't know what your profits were for the month or the week and how much your expenses were for the month or the week, you won't be able to figure out how much taxes that you should be putting aside in a separate account to be able to make your payments without stress. So let me break it down to you. If I were you, this is a kind of like a general rule of thumb. You need to balance as a newbie, as someone who's really starting their business. You want to be on top of your numbers every single week. So you want to take your profits that you're making and take about 20 to 25% of that and just slide that over into another account because you don't want to spend the money that you need to pay for your taxes. That's how you end up not owing at the end of the year. And it's basically like money you don't see. So if you're a W-2 employer, they take those taxes before you get your money. You should be doing the same thing. When you get your money, you should take those taxes before you even think about spending it. So take about 20 to 25% and put it in a savings account. Now, when it's time to make the payments, then you can just take the money from the savings account and pay the IRS. Now, how do you actually make these payments? The IRS makes it very easy to get their money. So you can pay in the mail, you can pay through the IRS To Go app, you can pay online, and you can also pay through what I would recommend is like a payment portal system that the IRS has. It's called the EFTPS, Electronic Federal Tax Payment System. This is where you can just pay straight from your bank account and send it on. When do you need to make these payments? So these payments are due 4 times a year, and it's basically in quarters. So they're due January the 15th, they're due April the 15th, June the 15th, September the 15th. Now, how do you know how much you actually should pay on these payment dates? You got to figure out your books. So if you don't have your books, let me know. I would suggest using some type of bookkeeping software, like QuickBooks is my favorite. There's a couple other out there like Xero and Ways as well. I don't really work with those, but I know QuickBooks will basically just calculate it all for you, and then you just send it off. So this basically is the gist of it all. What you don't want to do is make money. You're running your business and you had a great year. Say you made $20,000. It's your first year in business. You made 20 grand. Guess what? You probably got about $5,000 in taxes that you need to pay. Why put yourself in that situation? Like, when you start running a business, you have to start thinking like a boss. You got to start thinking like a businessman or businesswoman. Whatever you are and whoever you may be, you need to get your finances in order. So in order for this to happen, you have to make sure you're keeping your books, you know your numbers, you're paying your taxes, because that's going to impact things down the road. If you ever need a loan, if you ever you want to get your own space, like you have to have some type of business credit and establishment. So if you don't have your books in order and you want to figure out, you can't really pay a monthly bookkeeping fee, but you would want somebody to help you set up your books and kind of get your business up and running, holla at your girl, because I can go ahead and set that up for you. And then I will walk through how much estimated payments you should be making over the next couple of months. So if you are interested in needing your QuickBooks set up, you need a bookkeeper, you need any of these services, you're just confused about your monthly finances, then schedule an appointment with me. The strategy sessions are free. Probably for the next 48 hours. I'll keep this open for the strategy sessions to be free. And then that is really it. If y'all have any questions, drop it in the comments. I'll be checking that and then I'll respond. Bye. Thanks for watching.